Hi students. In the previous video we had summed up about the characteristics of the company. In this session we can discuss on the characteristics of company in detail. And let me begin. The first characteristics of the company is incorporated association. A company is incorporated or registered under the Companies Act. Now the prevailing Companies Act is Companies Act 2013. And for a company to be started, for a public company, minimum 7 individuals are required to form a public company, and for a private company, a minimum of 2 persons are required to form a private company. The next characteristics of the company is artificial person. We all know that company is created by law. That is, company is a creation of law. Company is in itself is not an individual. For company is not a human being, it is termed as artificial. And for the company have certain rights and obligations, it is termed as a person. Like each person have certain rights and obligations. Such a way, this company, which is formed by law, has certain rights and obligations. Henceforth, it is termed as person. Therefore, company is an artificial person. The next characteristics of the company is separate legal entity. The separate legal entity feature of the company. What do you mean by separate legal entity? Distinct from the person who constitute it. This is separate legal entity. A company is distinct or different from the person who constitute it. The association of persons forming company on registration become body corporate. How a company can be formed by a simple association of persons, but is that enough to be a company? No, it should be registered, and the company formed on registration becomes a body corporate. The supporting case laws with regard to separate legal entity of the company is Solomon versus Solomon Company Limited, Lee versus Lee Air Farming Limited, and so on. This case laws I will discuss in the later session. I will make a separate video on the discussing about various case laws under various heads. The next characteristics of the company is limited liability. What is meant by limited liability or liability is limited? Its meaning is absolutely is this only. This members are not liable for its debts for company being a separate person. What is meant by the limited liability? The members are not liable for its debts for company being a separate person. Company is a separate person, distinct from the members. Henceforth, the members are not liable for the debts of the company. This is meant by limited liability. Let's move on more under this topic. Companies formed are of different types. Company limited by shares, company limited by guarantee company having share capital, unlimited company, and so on. And regarding to this head, company limited by shares. For a company limited by shares, the liability of the member is limited to the unpaid value of shares held by them. For a company limited by guarantee, the liability of member is determined by the guarantee amount or the amount guaranteed by him. For a guarantee company having a share capital, the liability of the member is limited to the aggregate of the amount remaining unpaid on the shares held by the member plus amount guaranteed by him. For an unlimited company, members shall continue to be liable under each paise has been paid off. It's a feature of the company that's limited liability. But sometimes a company can be formed as an unlimited company. Here, the limited liability feature shall not be applicable for that company, and the members shall continue to be liable for each paise that has been paid off in case of unlimited company for its debts. The next feature of the company is transferability of shares. What is meant by transferability of shares? Transferable in the manner provided in the article section 82 of Companies Act 2013. That is, the shares of the company are transferable. Transferable in what manner? In the manner provided in the articles. This is mentioned in section 82 of the Companies Act 2013. For a private company, there are certain restrictions on this transferability of shares. However, the transferability of shares or the right to transfer shares is not taken away absolutely for a private company also. That means a private company, though having certain restrictions on the transferability of shares, have the right to transfer the shares. The next feature of the company is perpetual existence. What do you mean by perpetual existence? You know, company is an artificial person. Death, insolvency, or retirement of its members leaves the company unaffected. For a company is an artificial person, death, insolvency, or retirement of members who leaves the company does not affect the company. And the company does not have an allotted lifespan. For company is creation of law. And how this company can end up? Wound up as per law only. For a company is formation of law, it can be wound up as per law only. Okay, the next feature of the company or the next characteristics of the company is separate property. Separate property is another characteristics of the company. What do you mean by separate property? Company is a legal person. We all know that and we have mentioned before. And being a separate person or like a separate individual or like an individual, a company can hold and owns property in its own name. For a company being formed have a name, and in its name a company can hold and own property like an individual owning property. Property of the company is not the property of the shareholders, and this the property which is of the company is not the personal property of the shareholders. That's the property of the company itself, being a company owning the property in its own name. The supporting case law with regard separate property of the company is McCure versus Northern Assurance Company Limited. This case law also I will discuss in detail in a separate video. For under the separate property characteristics of the company is a supporting case McCure versus Northern Assurance Company Limited. Okay, the next characteristics of the company is common seal. What do you mean by seal? Yeah, common seal. Seal, official signature of the company. Common seal means common seal is the official signature of the company. You have all seen the seals of various companies. That's the official signature of the company. For the company is like a person, and a person sanctions or a person enter into some contracts by signing the contract. Like the same way, the company, like a person, enters into contracts or documents by the official signature or common by its official signature termed as common seal. Certain documents which require common seal are power of attorney, share certificate, share warrant, etc. It's certain documents which requires common seal of the company. And section 21, documents and contracts signed by any key managerial persons or any officer authorized by board in this behalf. Section 21 of the Companies Act says that the documents and contracts which are signed by documents and contracts which are authorized by the company for such document by its common seal, such documents must be signed by any key managerial person or any officer by board in this behalf. And the authority to use common seal is given only by board meeting only. And person affixing the common seal must sign the instrument and keep the safe custody of the, and this common seal is kept very safe in custody of the authorized person. And this common seal binds the company in every its act. Here I haven't mentioned, but nowadays the common seal has made optional. I will tell that later. And the another characteristics of the company is can sue and be sued by another. Any person can a company can sue another person, and any person can sue against the company in its name in matter of conflicts or disinterest. Thank you.